Sequels are a challenging obstacle for most anime studios. When you get a big break with a series that's as popular as Re:Zero is, you really have to step your game up, especially if the wait between seasons is more than 2 years. If the author misses their mark with the next arc that's up to adapt, it's up to you to improve it for the anime medium. If said arc is already phenomenal, it's still your duty to improve wherever you can. After all, anime has far more mediums to work with, so why not use them to your advantage? Re:Zero had a lot of hype going into this Sanctuary arc, but we've seen hype be just that and nothing of actual quality before. But I'm happy to say that White Fox went above and beyond what they ever did with Season 1 to deliver the most brutal, heart-wrenching, mind-shattering season yet. It was so stunning that I'm already ready to say that this is the anime of the year, as Attack on Titan's only going to be airing 4 episodes this year. But next year though, the competition is indeed real. Ever since the beginning of Season 1, the appeal of Re:Zero has always been Subaru, the character who gets ripped into far too much for simply being human, unable to adjust to a lifestyle, being killed over and over, unable to share his burden of return by death with anyone. Many so-called fans of the series believe he should magically toss his feelings aside and man up to deal with being savagely murdered and solve everything Sherlock Holmes style, because obviously that's how they would deal with it, of course. Thankfully, they're not the ones writing this tale, so we actually get something of quality. Subaru's mental despair and growth over the first season was painful to watch at times, and not just because of moments such as this, but also the ones where he was simply ridiculous. So what was Season 2 going to do for his character that we haven't already seen before? This exact question would make or break the season as being a worthwhile or mediocre sequel. Something I've had a deep respect when it came to the suffering of the series is how it's not a non-stop constant blow. There's always time to heal before tearing you right back down. And while I assumed the formula would remain strong, what could it really show me that we haven't already seen? I know of Satalia, I know of the mystery of return by death, what could you possibly shock me with? Well, drinking Best Girl's bodily fluids, of course. The Witches, and most importantly the Witches' Tea Party, is the most brilliant narrative choices I've seen in anime, period. Before entering this season, I assumed the witches were evil. They weren't the kinds of people you wanted to have a casual chat with by sipping tea during a so-called tea party. While they aren't the most normal of folk, they also aren't as crazy as I expected, or at least not in the traditional sense, as they are plenty crazy. Each witch is consumed by her sin, making her lust so strong it becomes an obsession of love targeting our boy Subaru, each in its own unique way, from the thirst of knowledge making the end justify the means, a hunger so great anyone could be her next meal, to an overcaring love that means anyone in her way, not the target to heal, could be in for a rude awakening. Now upon entering this world, that was his dream, a harem easy lifestyle of girls wanting him like no other. But now this boy has grown into a man, trying his hardest to save the ones that he loves, even at the cost of abandoning what makes him human all in the process. I found the concept of Re:Zero's world to be a fascinating nightmare where what you see is never what you get. Season 1 did a solid enough job establishing the world and the characters overall, where with Season 2 world building is top priority. While some may moan that staying in one location is a drag, if you look at how much we actually witness in 13 episodes, nearly in one location the entire time, and compare it to Season 1, I'd actually argue we witness more action and learn more critical information than we ever did in the first season. And keep in mind, I have very little complaints about the prior season, mind you. It did its job damn well, but Season 2 said, hey putty, you know what you expect? Well, yeah, about that. These witches here are way more than meets the eye. Egidana is one of the most brilliant foils to a main character in years. Subaru's main anguish comes from the inability to say, I can return by death. It's horrible enough he has to physically feel the pain of dying over and over, but the worst part is coming back looking like a lunatic, unable to say, I just died. And when that stacks over and over and over, you snap for obvious reasons. Despite the witch agreed not being this cauldron-steering maniac, we know we shouldn't trust her. But when Subaru meets her and he's able to say those haunting words, I can return by death, and nothing seemingly happens during that moment, Subaru and the viewer's guard completely drops. How? Why? Is it because she's a witch? Is she behind this? Is she friend or foe? In those moments, it simply doesn't matter. The author throws the biggest curveball and says, here is a shoulder you can finally lean on. Once again, Subaru's voice actor goes all out to deliver a performance that makes you feel as if this is a person who has been waiting his entire life to say those words. And Studio White Fox made his reactions from head to toe feel so realistic, meaning it's so easy to buy into her caring smile. to decompress so much and finally say, I have struggled so long, not able to properly share this burden with anyone. I know you'll probably use me, I know I barely know you, but help me, and she answers you with a smile everyone gives into, and that's the brilliance of a strong writer and a talented anime team. This right here is what makes ReZero's writing so phenomenal. Ekidana being someone after the truth no matter the cost isn't shocking. We should expect as much. But when Subaru is reaching closer and closer to the point of insanity after losing Rem from the memories of everyone surrounding him, Amelia tasked with an impossible trial, making her grow emotionally unstable, and you're out of answers, you have no other option. Help me, Ekidana. Please. While we don't see her the most out of any character this season, she appears just enough, so with each interaction, despite the voice in our head saying run, we have no one else. And because we only see her every so often, we crave her more and more, just as Subaru does. See the brilliance right here? She gets us addicted, meaning it's easy to let our guard down because we crave her being on screen. One of the many great aspects Season 2 has going for it is Subaru's point of no return. They give you this beautiful episode dedicated to a false reality of meeting Subaru's parents, but one he needed to see despite it being fake. He never got to properly say goodbye to them and most likely never will. But isekais rarely never touch upon what happens when someone is ripped away from their world, and usually you brush it off because the character hates their family. But during this, we witness in fact he actually loves them and wished for them to hate him because of his insecurities of hating his own life and his own being. But his parents were the MVPs of the year for loving families, making sure he had the support and distance he needed to not reach that point of no return. Had he not been ripped away from his original reality, you firmly believe they would have had him get into a normal lifestyle in due time. Over this stunning episode, you witness what made Subaru into the cringy guy that we used to assume he was, why he's so outlandish and why he feels so guilty all the time. What brings up his insecurities. You get this beautiful goodbye that may be fake, but for him is everything. It helps establish Ekidana as someone you want to support, as even if this may be a lie for him, it's his saving grace. To get this moment that no other isekais really get. How can you not want to trust this false smile? But unfortunately for Subaru, this is where Return by Death looks to be a gift to him. After experiencing the most brutal deaths yet, and damn are they messed up, like how can he make bunnies like this look so demonic and do such vile acts? But I guess we're in ReZero, so anything's a possibility. While he feels like a failure, to which Ekidana responds, Return by Death most likely is limitless, Subaru starts approaching the point of no return. He starts viewing life as temporary, where he can rush through checkpoints to gather as much information as possible, and it doesn't matter if he dies because he's gonna come back. This is what many people wanted from Season 1, but this is the worst case scenario. Humanity is Subaru's greatest gift, not this evil ability making him relive pain over and over. He cares for people and used to view life as this is it and I can't bear pain anymore. I have no idea if I'm gonna come back, this is it. By viewing life as disposable, he reaches closer and closer to someone resembling Roswell, a man set on the end result above all else. By becoming one who views his life as a gamble, and if those die he can simply end it and start over as he reaches this point that Ekidana wants, someone after the truth at any cost. The thirst for knowledge will make the end justify the means. For Subaru, he no longer has any doubts because of her about if his life has limits, but then the series throws the what if at us. What if each time Subaru dies, he doesn't rewind? What if it branches off into a new timeline, a new reality, where everyone else has to deal with Subaru dying as he goes and restarts in a new one? While it's not confirmed and it very well could just be a what if just to throw the question at him, that is the wake-up call to snap him back into reality, fearing death as most humans do. By cherishing life, you make the most out of it. By not fearing death, you can appreciate it to its fullest extent. For Subaru, while he has the shittiest of luck and is in the worst situation, by not caring about his life, he looks at relationships as temporary and not ones to cherish. By looking at life in this way, while it may be the easiest way to save Amelia, it's the one that will turn him into someone she fears. By snapping him back into the mindset of what if I'm hurting them when I leave them? What if these noble moments to me leave them crying and ashamed, having ever known me or even believing in me? It makes Subaru and the viewer unsure of what to think or feel, highlighting another trait many isekais tend to forget about. What is the cost of these so-called amazing abilities? The buildup of Ekidana and Subaru's relationship is my current favorite in the entire series. You never trust it fully, but you feel as if you need to lean on her. The twist and turns, someone so honest about her desire for knowledge but feels so twisted, provides a level of anxiety I truly feel is unmatched. All the witches are consumed by their sin. They are honest to said sin, but seemingly all drawn to Subaru for unknown reasons. With him being someone who's easily manipulated due to the mental anguish he's experienced, this so-called support messes with him more than even these bunnies do, and you know that's saying something. That's what makes this season so great. By taking a narrative so juicy of flavors, White Fox escalated the visuals to make them feel so realistic with body reactions and dramatic directing. This new territory we never deemed possible, it became a reality and took something I knew would be difficult to adapt and turn it into something digestible, but always having you ask, but what now? You make the viewer uncertain of how much Roswell knows about Return by Death. You have us questioning the look of Satalia and Amelia all the more. You drop Satalia in the real world, and hell, even the Tea Party to start some trouble. You introduce new characters who have suspicions of Subaru, but with each reset either trust in him or hate him all the more. You reintroduce killer women who are even more brutal than the last time. You make Lolly Librarian cry. You make us question Return by Death. You give us heartwarming reunions. You do more in 13 episodes in seemingly one location, with a few extra set pieces here and there, than the entirety of Season 1. Not because what came before sucked, but because Season 2 improved on that brilliant formula. It's rare for me to include any series in my top 10 before it's concluded, let alone half of a Season 2, but goddamn did ReZero deliver and make it into that list. Suffering has never been what makes ReZero great. It's how Subaru responds to these impossible to handle situations, by giving him support at the times he needs it most from the ones that he loves, to giving him unlikely alliances we know we shouldn't trust in but need that shoulder to lean on who knows all of our struggles. This season lets Subaru grow and break the most while doing something different with each and every death. You don't turn a cart driver into best boy unless this season it was going to slap, and slap it did. Each episode of this season is worthy of a video alone, but those are my condensed thoughts on why I believe this will be Anime of the Year for 2020. If you have your own feelings on ReZero or the video, please feel free to share your thoughts down below. Leave a like if you enjoyed and be sure to subscribe if you happen to be new around here. There's also my Patreon for early access on videos such as this, if you so wish. I also offer textual thumbnail art as well if that's something that tickles your fancy. So until next time everyone, please take care and have a good one.